well, I understand that you can't do everything all the time, and every request that's made isn't possible. So I think during football season, it's going to go, now that football season's coming up, I'll have a little less time on the weekend, which I'm happy about. I'm happy to, really excited to cover football, really excited to give insight to you guys who tune in to watch, who have been great football fans, and really anxious for you guys to see things through my eyes, and I get to express it on TV for a lot of years going forward.
Everybody knows it's not a secret. You signed a 10-year deal with Fox or whatever. What made you decide, I know I want to do that. I want to be calling football games. I want to be giving color commentary. I want to be a commentator on football games. When did you make the decision that that was something you wanted to do?
It wasn't really even on the radar when I retired.
All right.
And I didn't even think that when I would retire, that's something I would go into. But I had saw teammates go into it with a great degree of success. Teddy Bruschi's one that I really love on television.
Great. That's my guy.
Willie McGinnis is another one that on NFL Network I thought did a great job. Rodney Harrison. Great job on NBC. So I kind of looked at them and realized they were great leaders of the team. How can they get on there and express their views on television to really spread their positive outlook on what football has meant to them, and as they look forward, what it can do for a lot of people, and they were so successful at. So when I retired, it was just met with Fox, and they said, this is what we think we want you to do. And didn't realize that type of opportunity was out there, and then I couldn't turn it down when they said, hey, you're going to be the lead analyst. And I thought, okay, you know what? I still get to be a quarterback. Because in some ways now I'm just quarterbacking something a little bit different. But in the end, you're sitting in that hot seat. You're in the one calling the shots. And that's where I like to be. That's where I'm most comfortable.
Anybody in particular that you enjoyed watching and listening to that you kind of think you might potentially mirror yourself after? Because Tony Romo, for example, does a great job on CBS. John Madden made the position famous for many years, doing Monday Night Football and doing Sunday Football with Pat Summerall for years before he Monday Night. Anybody that stood out in your mind that you said, you know what, that guy is great. I wish I could be that good if I decide to do this?
So it's interesting because as a quarterback, when I would watch football games, when I was an active player, I would really only watch the quarterback. And I'd watch how he was playing, how he reacted to defense. I really wasn't listening much to what was going on the TV because whatever they said, I only had my own view and judgment. I would say in the last 18 months, it's totally transitioned to now I could care less what the quarterback's doing. I'm still watching, but I'm really listening to what's going on between the two people, the analysts and the play-by-play guys. So for me, it's probably taken a little bit of a lot of them, and I don't think there's anyone in particular other than I've reached out to a lot of different people, Troy Aikman and Collinsworth. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people, Tony, obviously, and I think I like little bits and pieces of each of them. And they're all very talented, and they're all a little bit very different. So how my style ends up kind of being presented, that will be to be determined. But I think for me, it's going to be unique to me. And I think I do have, I feel, unique insights based on my experiences as a 6th-round pick, as someone who got injured, someone was a 3rd string on the quarterback, then a backup on the depth chart, then went in because of injury, then won Super Bowls, lost Super Bowls, didn't make the playoffs, made the playoffs. All these experiences that I had, free agency, being on a new team, integrating yourself into a new environment, playing in different weather conditions. There's so many different things that I was able to be a part of that I can relate to kind of this current generation of athletes that are going out there trying to make their dreams come true.
What type of analyst can we, I'm asking, as a personality, what kind of a personality can we expect to see from Tom Brady?
I think it'll feel probably very authentic to my natural self. Okay. And I would say my biggest challenge is that I'm very critical of the play in the NFL. Okay. And I think because I was very critical about the way I played in the NFL, and I was very critical about the way that our team played in the NFL, and I think the expectations for performance that I had were very, very, very high. So the most challenging thing is when I see something, when I think, oh, that was horrible. Right. I just can't say that on TV.
Why not?
Well, because there's parents and, there's parents and there's family members, and I don't want to always necessarily say it in that way. Okay. But I think if I was doing it myself, and let's say I threw a really bad interception, I would walk to the sidelines. I said, "You are the worst quarterback in the world. How could you possibly make that throw? That was terrible."
Right.
But I just don't want to be so critical because in some ways I don't necessarily know exactly what the problem was on that play. If, let's say, Daniel Jones throws an interception. I didn't mean to say it like that.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say.
Wait a minute.
That's what I'm trying to say, sir.
I wasn't even being critical of Daniel Jones.
Right.
Maybe I was a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. And not only that, because of your expertise, we can guess and we can speculate on what we're seeing and ultimately lean on the result. You'll know specifically what the hell somebody did wrong and why.
Yeah.
And you gonna dial it back or you gonna bring it?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to dial it back to make something that was negative into a neutral or a positive.
Right.
I think if something's not good, I'm going to point it out why it's not good and how it can be better.
Right.
That's the important part is, you know, and I think a lot of it, even the criticism of a player versus the criticism of a play is very different. Just because someone is attached to the negative aspect of a play doesn't mean you're being negative toward that player. Right. Look, anyone who's playing in the NFL is a talented player. Anybody who is making a living playing professional sports is at the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. They're all great. That doesn't mean what they do is great all the time.
Right.
Being a great player is about making great plays consistently over the course of a week, of a game, of a season, of a career. If you tell me someone's a great player, it doesn't mean he makes great plays all the time. I could make bad plays. I just make a lot more great plays than bad plays. You know what? Even a very average player can make great plays. Right. But the problem is they make a great play, then they make a negative play. Great play, negative play. Well, in that case, you are average because great, an A and an F, it ends up being a C. And I think for a great player, you should aspire to mostly A's, definitely some B's, every once in a while some C's, and very, very rarely, you know, the D's and the F's, so to speak.
Why the hiatus? You retired from football, but you weren't calling games. You weren't doing analytical work on the games last year. Did you want the year to prepare? Did you just want a year off? Why didn't we see you doing this last season?
So 23 years of playing was a grind. That was a treadmill. That treadmill was moving very, very fast for a long period of time. And the reality is I was definitely tired from that physical exhaustion and the mental exhaustion. I wanted to take a year if I was going to be, I realized that if I want to be really great at this, and I know you're someone I look up to, the commitment you've made to be great, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of focus, and I needed to divert a little bit of that attention and focus to the other things in my life that needed some attention. So I wanted to commit as much as I could to reorganizing my life. And again, Coach Belichick always had a great line during the season.
Right.
It was, I know, he's an amazing coach. And he would always say, there should be a drawer at your desk, and everything that comes to that inbox, every request you get, just put it in the drawer for 6 months. It can wait. And when the season's over, open up that drawer and handle the stuff that you need to handle. Now, we couldn't do that all the time because we're all in life and things are happening, but I had a 23-year-old drawer. Wow. And that thing was full. And I needed, I think, 18 months to unpack that drawer, see what the hell was in that drawer. There was a few trophies in there. But I had to unpack that drawer and then figure out really what needed attention and really where I could reorganize some things to make sure the next 23 years of my life went the way that I wanted.